Hello, everyone. Scott Gilmore, Mike Albee here inside Hindel Bowl for the Indiana Senior Masters Championship, the very first Senior Masters Championship. We're down to our final 6 competitors. We're just have 2 matches going on in this round, Mike, in the round of 5, the losers bracket. We have 2 winners left, and those winners are Jeff Bowman and Trent Marner. And, boy, this is going by quick.
It is going very fast. Yeah, it's they're doing a great job of keeping it up, and we've had some great matches, great scores. We are predominantly left-handed, but it's a challenge for anybody and everybody that's out there bowling, and whoever wins this deserves it for sure.
Well, and Jeff Graham just got that notice there that he defeated Dexter Harrod, and I believe David Clemens is the last right-hander standing in this tournament. So where bowlers are on 3 and 4 and 11 and 12. Joe Didion Sr. there on the left. He just left a 7-pin in the second frame. He's taking on West Lafayette's Mike Mann. And then Jeff Graham is taking on David Clemens here on 11 and 12. So, we were just talking in the meantime. These seniors, they're ready to bowl.
Yeah.
And they don't waste any time.
Nope. And
one thing that I've heard a lot, talking with Mark Sullivan a little bit about the PBA 50 Tour, is he said it's really kind of rejuvenated his career and his perspective on the sport of bowling. When you go to these events, these guys they're so friendly and a lot more talkative. It's not as, they're there to try to win, and they're serious about it, but it's in a different manner. And he said it's been very enjoyable experience for him, and he's been very successful.
Oh, he has.
He's knocking on that door.
Well, he's always been a great player and one of the great people around, good guys, and but he's worked at his game, continued to work his game all through his life. So, I would hope that he would continue to impress and do better. But I can see, never having bowled on the senior tour, I could see where you would have different, goals at that point in your life, and but that group is still a competitive group, has been very successful through the years. So I'm sure on the lanes a lot of that talking isn't going on. I'm sure it's afterwards when they can sit around and tell the stories and have a good time together. But I'm sure once your foot steps up on the approach, it's a totally different story.
Well, and one thing that we do want to let our viewers out here, we do want to thank our sponsors. Without them, these broadcasts aren't possible. So make sure you patronize our sponsors. We have Big Four Socks, Pinheads Bowling Center. We have Motive Bowling and Mike Albee's Arrowhead Bowl. And without their support, these events are not possible. So make sure you thank them whenever you're in their facility or buying their products. So let them be known that you appreciate their support of Indiana bowling. Joe Didion coming in high, leaving the 4-7. And Jeff Circle with more sheets of paper. And a public service announcement from the Indiana State Board is plant a tree. Arbor Day is just around the corner.
I think we've just been let go.
Oh, but Jeff, we thank you for all your hard work. We know it's a lot of work and takes a lot of time, and we appreciate the dedication to making bowling better here in the state of Indiana. That's for darn sure.
And obviously, after all that summer of free time you had, is now over. Because bowling season has started.
He didn't realize he had 2 full-time jobs, Mike.
I know.
Oh, but what a great turnout here for the inaugural Senior Masters, and we expect this to grow bigger and bigger every year. And once the players get familiar with what weekend we have it on, we are going to grow this number, and we appreciate all the seniors coming out for a chance to claim the first Senior Masters Championship. So,
well, 110 entries, what a great start. And, very fortunate. Here we are at Hindel Lanes, and it's so nice to be here with proprietor Jerry Hindel, who has been around so many years and been a supporter of bowling in Indianapolis in this area, but nationally as well. And his father was one of the great proprietors back in the 60s and 70s. And, of course, Mark Johnson, who helps to operate this center, and we can't thank them enough either for all their support for this industry.
Yeah, we walk in, the place looks fantastic, and it's a nice, easy drive into Indianapolis to the facility right off of 465, just a couple of miles off of the interstate here, and Mark Hunt, the GM of the facility, has done a fantastic job, and place is spotless, and boy, if you're looking for really a nice little center to bowl in, it's not little. There's a lot of lanes in here, over 40. And look up Hindel Lanes here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Jerry Hindel and his family have been such a great supporters of our industry for so long. And my senior moment, it's Mark Hunt. And Mark, I was just talking to Mark earlier. I see Johnson, and I speak that, and I apologize for that because he's one of the great ones as well.
Boy, Mike Mann is off to a great start here. Spare in the second with a three-bagger from frames 3 through 5. And Joe Didion, he went spare, open, strike, spare, and he needs to get on the strike train real quick. Oh,
great break there. Yeah, great break there.
Crumbles the bucket.
Down. Yeah, because one each is going out of this round, is out of the tournament after this one.
We'll be down to our final 4 guys after this round. We hope you're enjoying the broadcast here on Savage Bowling TV. Chad Lester, our producer-director here. Mike Albee, Scott Gilmore in the broadcast booth once again. And we always thank you for your time and watching these events. And if you're a fan of bowling, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We'll be broadcasting a lot of bowling here in the next 5 to 6 months, especially those months of January, February. They are going to be jam-packed. We're also going to take a trip to the U.S. Open, which is back in Woodland Bowl. We'll be there doing some live, not live streaming, but we'll do some videos and talk to the pros, and we'll probably, if we're lucky enough, we'll hook up with Brad and Kyle once again, and we'll have a lot of stories and stuff from the U.S. Open. And also, the PBA just announced their schedule, and Dave Small, a huge supporter of bowling here in this state, he will be hosting 2 events on the PBA Tour this year, so that's exciting news. And as we talked a little bit before we took this round, it's nice to see the schedule full. I mean, they've got a full slate.
And Indiana is represented like no other time in the history, and we're so fortunate in this state. I know I said it several times, not only for these events, but the Pro Tour to be here, and so it's a great time to be a bowler in Indiana.
Well, and everybody asks, how important is the Pro Tour, the PBA Tour, to the sport of bowling from the grassroots level? And it's extremely important because you got to have an avenue, right?
Well, it is.
If you want to,
yeah, I mean, it's like a free advertisement for all the proprietors and anybody to do with the sport. I mean, it's just if you're not a professional bowler, you see it on TV and you want to go do it. And so, yeah, we cannot, thank the proprietors enough in this state, whether it's Royal Penn or Dave Small, for what they've done to get the tours to come back and to be here consistently. And it's an opportunity for our higher level bowlers in this state to not only see it and do it, but to get their kids and that to strive to want to do it as well.
You want to see how important the PBA Tour is to this guy on my left. Just walk into Mike Albee's Arrowhead Bowl in the main entrance and look at the trophy showcase on your left as you walk in, and you're going to see quite a few pretty cool trophies in there that you got stored.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to have those out there, and kind of I love walking by it obviously to see the stuff in it. But and then we've got some other mementos too of my partner Don Mitchell and Scott Devers, and so we've got things in there, a little bit of odds and ends and just other things I've collected, and so it's kind of a fun little area to look at and see what's happened.
Obviously, Mike, you're heavily invested into the museum, and how are things going? What do you have planned there coming up this season? I know in the past, the PBA has had an event and adjacent to the museum. What's going on this year?
Yeah, we're not fortunate to be part of that at this time yet, but we hope something will come about in the future. But it's been very good for the museum. We're fully back open, after all the pandemic shutdowns and that. So we're wide open and taking visitors. And Carrie Smith, our curator, is doing a wonderful job. Her and her staff to continue to collect and promote the sport. And we're very fortunate recently to have an event at the museum and the campus in Texas back in August. Mubig, which is the multi-unit bowling center, so you have to have more than one center to be part of it, and they had their meeting there. And we have a program called the Frame for Frame program, and we have film that we're trying to digitize to save before it deteriorates to the point where it's not usable anymore. And Eddie Elias, the founder of the PBA, donated championship bowling, several bowling shows, and we have the old reel-to-reel tapes. So they have, which I've learned a lot about this, but it's called the vinegar effect. So when you walk in and you open these reel-to-reels, and if you start to smell vinegar, it's too late. It's already started to deteriorate. So we're in a rush and trying to catch up to save this stuff. So back to the meeting with the Mubig centers. We showed them around the museum, explained to them what we were trying to do, and we came out of that meeting with a $115,000 donation from that group in individuals by the time the individuals put up. So we are within $50,000 of completing that. We're already 40% done, but with their donations and then the last $40,000, and we can save all the video we have left. So it's very exciting down in Arlington, Texas, in the museum. So that's our big push right now, and to trying to finish that up, and then we're actually having our next board meeting at the IAPA show down in Orlando, which is people come from all over the world, show the latest and greatest, and Disney comes there to buy. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, that's fantastic, and one thing that I think is really cool about the museum is we got to save our history. Once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back, and to save those films and shows would be, I think, a fantastic thing. So how can others get involved in that?
Well, you can go on our website, the Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame. You go on there, it can show you how to donate, or if you have items that you think might be museum worthy, that you can contact Carrie Smith at the museum. Her email and contact information is on our website, and she can talk to you, see what you want. Sometimes she'll ask for pictures, and then if it's something there, we'll try to get it. So it's we've been fortunate in the last couple of years. We've really pushed a little harder to try to get items. There for a while was more about trying to keep the doors open and keep the museum going. But we're fortunate that the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, along with Frank DeSocio, the executive director of the USBC, Chad Murphy, have both come together, and they support the museum so that they handle all of our expenses, and we do the fundraising so that we can then go in and redo, collect these things, but also to redo the museum and update the exhibits. And one of the ones coming up that we're working on now that hope to have very soon would be the technology room. So hope to redo that one. So we're moving up and forward.
That sounds fantastic.
Didn't mean to take too long with that soap opera on the box there, but
it's important. If you want to take a trip down to Texas, it's probably well worth to see a lot of the history of the sport. And
it's one of the most rewarding things I've done. To be part of that.
Absolutely. And Mike Mann just steamrolled Joe Didion Sr. I think if he strikes right here, he's going to shoot 280. Spare strike sheet, they would say.
It's like a carbon copy every shot. I mean, just solid at the line. Looks great.
279 for Mike Mann. And down here on the other end, we have the match here between David Clemens and Jeff Graham, and David Clemens is really struggling. Back-to-back opens, 3 out of 5 have been opens. Mike Mann defeats Joe Didion Sr. 279 to 174. Now Jeff Graham, he just needs to fill frames, and that will.
That's a fill. Yeah, that's a good fill there.
The most David Clemens can shoot is 160 Well, he's already got more than that right now, and
And you know what really seems to be the from watching the right-handers play and that it seems like the shots that they miss a little bit in are the ones that really get them because they seem to just take it right through the nose and you've seen a lot of splits out of same way if we remember back to Tim Mack, he had back-to-back splits where it looked like the ball just broke loose and went right through the face. So that seems to be the biggest difference between the right and the left that I can tell. I mean, I don't know if you've seen anything different, but it certainly looks like they're pretty wide open, but if that ball doesn't get to their point, it just breaks loose and goes high.
well, and the lefties that I've watched, majority of them are all playing in the same part of the lane, right? Trent Marner's probably the only one that's playing a different zip code.
I agree.
And he's swinging to that spot. The other lefties are going up the lane. Right-handers, on the other hand, they play all over the place. Sometimes it's their own downfall because lefties all seem to stick together. And I'm not sure it's because they have to in order to keep the shot going. And their numbers are just, let's face it, there's more right-handers than there are left-handers.
They're going to change faster. But,
absolutely.
But yeah, it just doesn't seem like they didn't have the hold down the lane to keep them in play. But you're right, the lefties here have been more direct now. Now Mike Mann's got a little more on it, and he's a little bit, just a hair deeper than down it, but he's still going basically down and in. Like you said, where Trent is much deeper and using a lot more loft.
Well, we're down to our final four here. That's going to conclude the round of 5. We're down to 4 bowlers. We'll be back with round number 5 here on Savage Bowling TV at the Indiana Senior Masters Championship.